Ladies and gentlemen, I have one trick or another for you, especially in character creation or faction creation. With that being said, let's jump right into it. You've got all these little points here. Please keep in mind you can make 1 point minus, so you have more points, 4 points to spend. I wouldn't recommend rebels because unrest reduces your productivity in your cities, and that's really hard to combat. There's some buildings that can do something against this. There is natural resources that can reduce the unrest. There's heroes, but you don't want your heroes in your cities normally. You have no ranged weapons. That is an option, because most ranged weapons are bows or staffs that have a -2 initiative and very little damage, and a -2 accuracy. We'll come later to accuracy. Vulnerable to magic is a problem because magic can only be blocked normally either by resistance or simply by having enough hit points, and this can do a lot of damage in this game. It's sometimes hard to get off because you need some turns to make it work. So you're casting and casting and casting, and the enemy is hitting you all the time. It's not like D&D where you normally break your spell when you're hit. When you live long enough, you normally get your spell through. Uneducated, I would totally not say you should take that, because research, there's 3 research trees. Research is very important. No armor is an option if you go for dodge. I, for my part, say we go for no ranged weapons, for reasons I will explain later on. You can see down here that you can choose between Kingdom and Empire. So one good, one bad? Not really. The difference is these guys can get other allies than these guys can. And normally when you run into an Empire, you're better friends with them than the Kingdom side. So it's basically 2 opposite sides. The Empire has access later on to trolls and auguries and that kind of stuff. And these guys have access to knights, special knights. You can also choose your race. Please keep in mind that most races are available by 2 ideologies, but not all of them. For example, if you want to go hardcore on Juggernauts, which are these guys, you can only take them on Empire side. You cannot take them on Kingdom side. Juggernauts have the very special that it is 1 unit. You see, normally when you have battle units that you train, they consist of 3 to 7 or 6 members. And every time one of them dies, because low hit points, the fighting power diminishes. Juggernaut is 1 big guy. And as long as he has 1 life point left, he's going to hit and hit and hit and hit and hit again with the same strength. And they have an ability to, if they hit once, they attack another time with reduced accuracy, and if they hit again, they attack another time with reduced accuracy. And so these guys can technically do absolute absurd amounts of damage if they hit. You can influence that a little bit. Keep in mind that what stands here with Throx and Urkson and Quendar or whatever applies to the unit that you build in your cities. The things you take here will apply to all your units. Those that you build, those that you summon, those that you buy, those that you recruit, whatever. This applies to everything, even to your heroes. So pick those with very special care. Just to go through them, Wraith is my favorite and is the one we will take because of the 20 dodge. Now you mean dodge, what is 20 dodge? Dodge is the ability to reduce the enemy's accuracy, and it is percentage wise. For example, the standard bandit has an accuracy of 60. If you have a dodge of 60, the enemy has a hitting chance of not 0 but 3%, because that doesn't go any lower than 3%. But trust me, fighting someone who has only 3% hit chance is pretty beautiful. And it works no matter what you build. If you go for summoning, if you go for getting bandits, if you're going for Silver Tongue and buying enemy units, no matter what you play, dodge is very, very good. You play a mage, you need some turns to get your spell off, dodge your friend because you're not getting hit. Very nice. Yes, you have -1 hit points per level. That is not that bad, honestly. That's still enough. Plenty to go around. Well, it's not plenty to go around, but the difference, you've got normally 9, then you have 7, you know what I mean. The difference isn't that high. Wraith Touch, what is that? That is the ability to steal life from the enemy, depending on the numbers of units in your unit and your level. So for example, if it's 3 guys, level 2, they will take 6 hit points. If they have lost 6 hit points or more, and if the enemy has 6 hit points or more. Otherwise, it will reduce relatively less, as much as available or needed. The Altarian is your starting thing. They got 10% experience. What is rush? Rush means you walk, and then you give the ability to rush, so they will move again. So it's a double move. It's not a double attack, it's only a double move. They can train henchmen. Henchmen are like heroes, and they can use equipment, but they don't get a skill tree. So, yeah, most units can actually use most equipment, but we'll come to that later in the game. +1 accuracy per level, that is 1%, by the way. That's 1% accuracy. +1 move, on the other hand, is pretty nice because your normal movement is 3 hexes. And as this is a grid-based game, 1 move is pretty impressive. This is on the world map, as well as on the combat map. The Ironeers, the golems, think of golems like juggernauts. The main difference between golems and juggernauts is golems take a lot of iron to build, which is a special resource that you will need a special mine for. That is not always available. And golems are a lot more tanky than juggernauts are, but less damaging. So more expensive, longer holding, less damaging. Yeah, you get the point. 1 hit point per level, guard strike ability, 30 to resistance, protected. Well, they're not spellcasters, basically said. Amarians, if you're playing a short game with only, 2 opponents and a small map, these guys would not do anything because you get +1 dodge per air shot, +1 per fire shot initiative, spell mastery per water shot, and spell resistance per earth shot. Please keep in mind that this does not work on your summoned units. This does not work on the heroes you recruit unless they're Amarian blood. This only works on your main hero and on your units that you built, that you train yourself. And if you don't get enough shards, this is not really going to do anything. The Tartans plus the initiative if in an army of 3 or smaller, and this double strike ability. This is very good in the beginning. Later on, it is losing a little because you need bigger armies, bigger army diplomacy in my eyes. But in the start, when you have very little, this might actually be quite effective. Crux plus 8 defensemen, here 50% in hit points, and the 45. Well, these guys can take it to the face, so to speak. However, please keep in mind, there are a lot of monsters that can kill you with 1 strike, and 8 defense. What is 8 defense? Leather armor gives you 6 defense. A small shield gives you 4 defense to 3 defense. A helmet, leather, gives you 1 defense. Leather boots give you 1 defense. So that is basically a leather armor with leather boots and leather helmet. Roundabout. And you have got 8 hit points, so it reduces the damage of 8. That's a little bit more than a rock spider. It is okay in the beginning. It's not going to do anything in the rest. When you're later on, you're with plate armor and you have 32 armor, and this goes on it when you've got 50% or hit points or less. Yeah, take them off. Wraith as well, we've already talked about these guys. In the Empire, I think the only ones that are different are the Wraith. The rest is, the Qua. Fire resistance, there are some units that do fire damage and some spells that do fire damage, so that is pretty cool. Minus 50% cold resistance, not so many that can do that, and they can do flame damage as well. The slaves are faster, are cheaper, yes. They're slightly weaker. You can basically swarm the enemy. It's more like, like Tyrannid or Zerg play, so to speak. We, anyway, will go with this time with, just to show, with the Kingdom and the Wraith. We'll keep the chest. And now, what does what? I've already talked about the weaknesses. Colors, whatever you like. Just make it work. You can tell your own little secret here. You can give them a name. I will call the factions Cadrons, Marauders. That's probably wrong spell, but anyway. Now, what does all this? I will go after everyone, please. Take your time. This is important. Adapts. You get the shard harvesting technology. With this is starting harvest, which is the first technology in the mage tree. The 3 trees: civic, warfare and magic. This is the first. So you're basically getting the first technology for free. You can use the shards, meaning you get more mana out of it in the start, and you get additional 40 mana. So if you're going, for example, for a mage play, or especially for a Beastmaster play where you need Beastmaster, beast controlling takes 45 mana in the beginning, that is a lot. So this is not even enough to control one beast. So then this would be an idea. Betrayers gives you the ability to convert cities. For that you must find them and you must have enough mana, and then you can take them. Cult of 100 Eyes gives you spiders. Please remember, these are not spiders your heroes can ride on. These are spiders that you can build as units. Again, if you're going for the Beastmaster thing and trying to take over units, this might be an idea to combine that, because the spiders can do webs, which will hold the enemy in place, which will give you enough time to take over an enemy beast. Because you need 7 stamina to take over a beast. You start with 0 in the tactical game, so you will take about 6 turns of doing nothing, and the enemy pounding you to dust. Having 2 spiders that keep the enemy in a net is pretty amazing. Enchanters, we will take this, because this will give us a Sindrian staff, which gives additional dodge, and this is important, this staff is on the warfare side, meaning this doesn't cost crystals. There is normal resources, hammers, that your cities produce. There is special resources as crystals and metal. And, for example, golems need a lot of metal. So if you want to build golems, you have to build metal mines, ore mines. And if you want to do magic enhanced units, you will need crystals. However, a normal crystal mine only produces 0.5 crystals a turn. So in order to equip one unit of 3 guys, which is the starting number, with, for example, a monk staff, which costs 2 crystals per monk, you will need 6 crystals, which means you will take 12 turns just to get the crystals together for one unit with normal staffs. So that's not really impressive. And you get something additional, which is not set here. You will get a scrying pool, which gives your city more enchantment abilities. More to that later. Very good. Stuff is pretty good. Forget about the last stuff. And it gives you the ability to build a special building. Great hammers. That is changes the weapons. Some of the skills here changes weapons that you normally get to an enhanced or better version. Hammers have this specialty to knock the enemy off the feet, if he has feet, please. Not all units can be knocked thrown. Units on horses cannot be knocked thrown. Big monsters cannot be knocked thrown, so keep that in mind before you go all hammer out. You do extra damage against man and fallen. Man, of course, are, well, the good sides, and fallen are like goblin creatures. Light plate, what does this do? Normal units can only equip normal armor and leather armor maximum. If you want to equip chainmail, or if you want to equip plate armor, you will need a special skill for your troops that you have to build in when you design them. Later on, they cannot take that. What does that mean? For example, you can take the plate buff or the plate ability for your units, and plate is on the very, 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 very end of the technology tree. Chain is on the middle of the technology tree. So if you take that, you could equip your units with light plate armor, which is as effective as chain, a little bit more, earlier on, and you don't have to take that long time to develop plate. Master Smith makes cheaper things to build. Not a lot to say about that, unless, as I mentioned, it's very, very hard to get the resources together, just for one unit, not speaking of entire armies. Scholars, you get the knowledge technology, which is in the civic tree, and 10% more research. That's okay. Unlock the Arcan Monolith, which makes outpost. Normally, you need settlers that can build cities, build outposts, and outposts you build when you don't want to have when you see, for example, a crystal mine, and you say, oh, I want that crystals for my I don't know, monk's robes, for example, but I don't want a city there because the position is not good enough for a city. I can only have a certain number of cities. Then you say, okay, I built an outpost, but that costs a settler. And so you think, oh, I take the Decalon, that's pretty nice. But that is cheaper than a settler. It is not. That thing costs 200 mana. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of stuff. Don't do this, in my eyes. +1 for trained units. Yay! That means 2 life points more, 1 accuracy more, and that's basically about it. Now, everything that says lore, Captor lore, Tart lore, Rezon lore, all these down here are the lores of the other kingdoms that you can prick if you don't make your own. And they will give you access to the recipes of items. This is not technology. That is nothing built in your cities. You will find while you adventure around items, resources. Demons, horns, blood of something, old scroll, stuff like that. And if you have the right recipe, you can instantly craft an item and equip your troops with it. For example, if you take the Altarian lore and you find a wolf pelt, you can make leather gloves for your troops. That's 1 armor. And they can equip them instantly, because every troop, unless they're not human, for example, if you've got a bear in your army, he can of course not wear that, but all of your normal troops, even those you train and build and they don't have stuff, they can equip that. That's pretty neat. So what does what? Escape scroll is pretty good. I mean, minor healing, I will not. That's 10 hits, basically. So one member in the unit fully healed, so to speak, if he's level 1. Mainly you go for Captor lore if you want experience boost, because they've got the stuff that increases your experience gain. Ring of the Tutor recipe, Band of Insight recipe increases your XP gain for the unit that wears the item for 10 to 25%. Please keep in mind these resources are really hard to get. So don't think you can build that right away. I would not recommend this. Leather Curse is okay. Hunter's Shortbow is okay. Please keep in mind all these items can be found, or the recipes can be found in the game. You just get them at starting and have them for sure. This one here, the bows are pretty good. Wolf Cloak is pretty good. The Long Strider gives you a movement bonus of 1. So if you're kind of the ranger, fast-moving archer type, this would be your idea for your heroes and troops. Everything you can build here, you can give your heroes or your troops. This is fire and ice, if I get that right. I think this is the ice part. Does ice damage in all variations that you can think of. I will make this complete. Gildan lore is you get the ability to build chain stuff right from the beginning, which is not that useful because you don't have the chain varying ability in the beginning, most likely. The weapons, though, are pretty impressive. I mean, Tower Shield is pretty big. Heartseeker recipe, Meteoric Greatsword, that stuff does a lot of damage, but the resources are really hard to get. Traxxas lore, everything that is toxic and flamey and really damaging, that's pretty cool. I mean, this thing does a lot of damage. Toxic or longsword recipe, or I think there is an X in there as well somewhere. That's pretty hard hitting. Amber Shadowcraft. Now you think you go for dodge, so you say I go for dodge, and so I take the Ring of Dodge recipe. Don't take this because this stuff is really hard to get the resources for. Sounds impressive, is not, because most of the stuff is too dangerous, or too expensive to build. You won't find the resources to build this very early. Hellfire recipe, Aspect of Fire. If you want to burn people down, this is your way to go. Again, really hard to get the resources here. Machna lore, Burning Axe does a lot of damage. Serrated Shortsword and Serrated Longsword, holy hell, this thing does damage like crazy. And you get plate recipes. Plate boots, for example, +5 armor. That is impressive. The only problem is if your people don't have the ability to wear plate armor, this is absolutely useless. And this stuff, as I mentioned, is not that easy to get. Especially for your heroes. There is a trick to get it, or a way to get it for your units pretty fast, but you will not have the resources, the iron, to build this stuff. Praeden lore, they have the last stuff recipe, and a lot of mastering stuff that gives you a bonus to spellcraft. spell mastery, which makes your spells more likely to get through and harder for the enemy to resist. The main thing here is the Crown of Magic, which will make that all spells cast on this unit that wears the crown have no upkeep cost. Ah, yes, you can save some mana here. Altarian Lore, that is the one I would recommend for two simple reasons. You get the return home recipe. What does that mean? You get a recipe where you only need a scroll, applied scroll that you basically find in every second or third battle, and 5 mana, and you can return an entire army home to your main city. And if you're clever, you connect your cities with roads, and then you can basically run around with an army, hit the enemy, and if things go bad, you can just teleport them out of here. Pretty impressive. Costs 5 mana. That's a deal. Some people say go for air magic, because in the second to last spell category, you get teleport home. Yes, then your hero that can cast the spell can teleport himself home with his army. But if you've got the return home recipe, any army can use that scroll, because you have one inventory that all your armies uses at the same time. We go later to that, but this is pretty impressive. You get the leather gloves and the basic leather boots, which just can cost 1 or 2 wolf pelts to make something. So that's pretty neat. That's cheap, easy to acquire, and super helpful. So, archers. You get special bows. And bows that ignore some of the enemy's defense, which is the main problem for archers, because you don't do enough damage if someone has armor. You're just like bing, 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 doing nothing. So this would be a way if you want to go the archer's way. Archers are good, but the problem is your initiative is low, and in this game, initiative is not like you go last. It means if your initiative is low enough and the initiative of the enemy is high enough, he will act 2 times and you will act, well, not as often as the enemy. Binding. Every time you make yourself a shard in your control, you build the shard shrine, you will get one of these things. And if they die after a while, a new one of them appear. Please keep in mind. It says Burning Wraith, Crow Demons, Mind Devils. These are all small versions of the elementals. You're not getting the big kaiju version. You're getting the baby version. And getting these guys up is hard work. Death worship. Holy hell. No way in hell. Do that. Because you prevent resurrection. You can do damage. That does 3 damage to an enemy. That's not gonna kill anyone. Infection does 3 damage per turn, or for 10 turns, unless the enemy resists. So that's a total of 30 damage if everything goes well, and costs a lot of mana. No, we're not doing that. Even worse is the Fleshbound Tome. I mean, this spell basically is something where you can consume your own units, for example, for 20 mana, and then the unit dies. Or your unit can fight but dies after the fight. No, we're not doing that. Heroic! You get double normal experience. Yeah, you're not doing that many quests. Yes, they pay well. Yes, you should take them. But 2 picks for the ability to get double experience. You get enough experience by fighting. Lucky. No matter what you do, take this one, because 25% accuracy is amazing. Remember, it's all built accuracy against dodge. From your accuracy, the enemy dodge is reduced, and the other way around. 25% dodge, it means you get hit a lot less. Masterwork Chainmail works on the same way as the light plate goes. So you're not getting plate in the end, you're getting Masterwork Chain instead of plate in the end. Which means you can train your people to use chainmail, and when plate normally would come available and the chain stuff would be outdated, it's still dated because you're chainmailing. A bit better chainmail and not getting plate armor that you guys cannot equip. Slave Lords sounds cool. You're getting more population, and think of population not as people that work. Think of population as experience points for cities, because the more population a city has, the more and faster it levels up. And cities that level up get special abilities like heroes do. That's absolutely amazing. Problem is, you have to fight these guys, you have to fight them, and you're not getting tons of slave out of it. It's not like you're getting 1 million slaves. You're getting 1 or 2 or something like that. So sounds great, is great if you have enough enemies to fight, but don't expect your cities to explode in population. All your units get 10% more hit points. If you're going for the big guys, golems, juggernauts, cave bears, that kind of stuff, boy is this gonna do a lot. If you're fighting with your normal guys, it's okay, because they've got 10 hit points to begin with, and then they've got 11. Yay. Warriors, you get a starting technology. The warfare starting technology. Yeah. Basically, you have this means you can construct barracks, and I think it also allows you to have 1 more slot in your army. So normally you have 4 in an army, unless you research, and with this you would have 5. Assassin's tools. This does not give you the ability to build stuff. This gives you the switch in your tech tree from a normal broadsword to a scatclaw, and from a longsword to a scimitar. Backswing, by the way, means that normally axes have this ability. You hit someone, you miss, and then you get another strike that can hit. So you basically roll twice your dice. Yeah. Not that good. Civics! Produce wealth, ins, and bells power. A lot of starting buildings. 4 starting billions you get with this for 1 point. Defensive! How do I put this? If you're defending your cities, something went very, very wrong. You know this, and you can see the eyes, the white in the eyes of your enemy. It's time to fire. No, if you see the white in the eyes of your enemy, someone has made a grave mistake. This is not something that should come to action. And if it does, 10% will not save you. X, you get dual versions. No, because you do a little bit more damage, and we're talking instead of 16, you will do 18 or 20, so not that, no. Your caravans cannot be attacked. Again, just keep your empires as proper and kill all the monster horde, and you'll be okay. Master Scouts, yes please. Why? Because, again, this is not for the units you build, this is for everyone. Your heroes, your summons, your board units, your conquered units, everyone will have the ability to move everywhere without any restrictions. This is amazing. We love this. Quick, plus 10% initiative. That is more interesting because initiative numbers are normally higher. So, for example, your normal initiative is about 20. So if you get this is 22, that might make a difference. As I mentioned in this archer thing where the bows give you a negative in initiative, this might mean that you can act twice where the others can only act once. Stealth. They will attack you less. In the beginning, they will not attack you at all because the monsters are just doing their thing. The further the game gets, the more dangerous the monsters become, because if you give them time, they will grow and evolve and stuff like that. Is the less likely to attack you. I don't think that it completely ignores that. Wanderlust unlocks quest maps, adhering leather armor, and fending blade, and Arctic and longsword. And what does what? The quest map just gives you a small quest. Normally you have to find special places to get quests. With this you can make your own quests. Please keep in mind, this has to be built and this has to be researched. And it is in the middle of the research tree, so it's not that easy to get. Arctic and leather armor is pretty cool because you get it very early and it gives you 7 armor instead of 5. That's not that bad. Fending blade is a version of the sword that gives you dodge, and as we mentioned, dodge meaning getting less hit, but we're not talking huge amount of dodge here. For example, this Cinderin stuff gives you 15 dodge, but it's two-handed. This fending blade gives you 5 dodge. So a third. Yes, you can wear a shield, and if you've got the really good shield, you get plus 8. So That together will be 13. You're still worse than this. And this is a starting technology. And this stuff you'll get later on in the middle of the tech tree. So I wouldn't recommend that. Normally, I would recommend take this. I know. It's not that impressive because most of the stuff you can find anyway if you just look long enough. But you're reducing the chance that you're running a game without this, for example, return home recipe. And that is very important. Trust me. Mobility wins wars. Who said that? Napoleon did. And this guy, besides making some mistakes, really know one thing or two about war. Yes, quick would also be good. Quick would work on everyone. But since we're not using anything that reduces with this build, armor a lot, initiative a lot through armor, for example, blade armor ruins your initiative. This is okay. This is debatable. If you want my tip, just to build around, take lucky, take master scouts, and you're safe. The rest is, in my eyes, you're free choosing, but these are the two things I would take because they're absolutely insane for what they do. So, let's go. So now we need a main hero. You can only choose one of these professions. What does one do? +1 fame. Fame is something that you buy heroes with. Fame is something that you get your wife with. Fame is something that allows you to get certain things. You can get them to quests or by fights. So +1 from completing quests is nice. Bandit Lords. If you're starting the game, there will be a lot of bandits. You will pay 25 guilder per bandit. Please keep in mind you have 50 guilders to start with. So you can buy 2 bandits and you have 2 to start with. So we'll have 4 bandits in total. Bandits are cool units because they can use weapons like your heroes do. So you have a sword, you find another short sword, and you say, oh, what to do with that thing? You will give it to your bandit. He normally has a club bomb. He does more damage. You find a shield, give it to that guy. You find an armor, give it to that guy. You find a ring, give it to that guy. Bandits are basically small heroes. What is bad about bandits? They have a -10% hit chance because they are less accurate. They have that and a negative feed. And they do not evolve. They are good starting units, but late in the game they will simply die because they do not evolve fast enough. They do not evolve, cannot be upgraded, cannot be retrained. You start with them, you can equip them better, but that's it. They level up a little bit, but they will never be end game or mid game units. That's the problem. If you combine this Bandit Lord, if anything, I would say take Wealthy because you get 400 Gildor. 400. That means you can take 20 more of this crazy guys with you. And there will be 20 bandits, no problem. They're bandit archers, bandit mages, bandit leaders, normal bandits, all varieties. And you can buy everyone for them for 25. They do not cost more. Getting a bandit lord, for example, or a leader will not cost more than getting a normal bandit. And it has a 100% chance to work. That is another go. If you take beast lords, the chances are not that high. And if you take silver tongue, the chances are even less likely, but this always works. Absolutely amazing. For small maps, if you do a small maps, a one-on-one, this is the way to go, because you will have units combined with wealth in unbelievable numbers, and you can just go through and kill everyone with these guys, because in the beginning they're really good, but they lose in effect very, very quickly. Diplomat. Value of trades, yeah, find someone to trade with and then get him to trade with you, and then this might do something. What is Silver Tongue? You can get trained units. We're not talking auguries, we're not talking spiders, we're not talking bears, we're not talking bandits, we're not talking elementals, we're not talking rock spiders, we're not talking anything but units built by other factions. And that costs 100 guilder. Yes, theoretically, if you run into the plate armored cavalry of the enemy equipped with amazing magic stuff, and if they don't have magic resistance, which is very likely at that level, then this might do something. Yeah, no. Hunter, 50% attack bonus versus beast. We'll come to beasts later. Yeah, there are a lot of beasts at the beginning. Later on, not so much. Scholar, 20% research. Always a good pick, because research is king. Warlock, units do 25% more damage. You should not be casting that much, because that is expensive, takes a lot of time, and is blocked mostly. Anyway. Warlord, 50% to unit wages. This is interesting in the late game, because you will have a lot of units. They will be very expensive. With this 50% less, absolutely amazing. Summoner, why is this interesting? Because you can combine that. You can take the Summoner and then 2 times Earth. 1 time Earth gives you enchanted hammers. The other 2 are not that good. Well, technically, you can put the Aura of Might on your city. In it, if it has 3 radiance, which is possible, your units get 3 armor to begin with. Yeah, that's basically a helm, footgear, and gloves included. But what you really want is this, and then Nature's Call. Because you can summon units on the battlefield with Nature's Call, and they will have 2 levels more thanks to your Summoner. And you get a Shadow Walk, which is a nice big doggy. Problem with this is absolutely mana intensive, holy hell. Because these guys, these Earth guys, they will not last. They will just stand for the battle that you have, and after this they will be gone and you will be broke in terms of mana. I wouldn't recommend it. Noble. Minus 10% unrest in all cities, because the percent is missing somehow. Anyway, as we mentioned, that is efficiency. So 10% more money, 10% more stuff is an idea. General, 25% to the army's experience. Please, this is only himself, the army he leads. Armorer, all units get 25% to defense. Yeah, in the beginning you have to note 20% more of 0 is 0. 25% more of 1 is 1. You get the drift. In the end, this might do something. In the beginning, holy hell no. Beast Lord, that is what most people go for, and I love too, but there is a big caveat to that. First of all, you can take control of enemy beasts. Now let's talk about something, and that is beast. An ogre is not a beast, it's a monster. A dragon is not a beast, is a monster. A bandit is, even if he slaughters children, is not a beast, it's a bandit. Beasts here are just wolves, bears, spiders, and small lizard thingies. Not the big thing. There is a big thing. You will see it when you have it. It looks like a Brontosaurus, just like bigger. Even bigger than that. Really big. I mean, like, humongous. That's not a beast. Yeah. Bear, wolf, spider, and little lizard. And that's it. Are they cool? Yeah. Especially a bear. Never take wolves. Not worth it. Spiders, only if they're so big that you would call the army to kill them. Otherwise, yeah, not really. We could take... Wait, we'll take... Now, what to take here? You can, by the way, take more than one. You could take this, for example. But the point is, why do we want Air Disciple? Take Air Disciple 1, and you will get Evade and Initiative. That is okay, but too expensive. Take 2, and you get Turtleage. 25% more experience. Oh, yeah. That's pretty neat. That is pretty neat. Honestly. Really, really nice. Because you combine this, and you have 50%. Then you make this guy a mage and take his first mage ability, and that is 25% more experience. And then you take his second ability as a hero, and that is 15% more experience. And holy hell! You are at nearly double the experience that anyone else gets. Huh? You get it? Oh boy, that's not that bad. Yes, you could go with just to show you what does what. Water. Why would take water? Of course, of inspiration. +1 research is because you start with 1, so that basically is 100% more research. Pretty nice. Yeah, no, because it does. It only works if the enemy does not resist. If you play this in any kind of difficulty that would make the game interesting, they will most likely block it. Fire. Yay! You can blast enemies if they don't resist, that is. And the flame dart, the burning blade. Yeah, that's upgrades. But basically, again, you will have a lot of fire shots to make this work, and you will not have that in the beginning. Earth, as we've spoken of. The enchanted hammers is good as an upgrade for a city that they build stuff faster and the defense. Or you just go for Nature's Call and blow your mana out the window just to win a fight. There are easier ways to win a fight. Death Apprentice. Please keep in mind, I've talked about the death thingy in the talent tree. There is also a spell there that turns normal shards into death shards, so your death magic would become more effective. Yeah, that's a way to play, to make every shard into a death shard and then cast death magic. That's a lot of work, people. That's a lot of work. If you don't get paid for it, I wouldn't recommend it. I would just take for this because of the experience. That's great. Of course, there is the argument. Hear me out. There is the argument. You say, Boris, wait a second. You're taking this for 25% more experience, and you're taking this for 25% more experience, and then you take 2 skills of the hero, which every time costs a level, just to get more experience, to get, in the end, 2 levels more than the rest that you spent the points for in the beginning? Yeah, I get the point. I see why some people say that's not worth it, because I just take all this to get more levels, and that costs me the points that I gain in the more levels. If you know what I mean? So you say, haha, I took all this, I'm level 22, you're just level 20, you have only 20 points to move around, I have 22, and then the other guy says, yes, you have 22 skill points, but you put 2 of them and your starting stuff just to get to level 22, so we have basically the same amount of skill points, meaning 20 in all our skills, and you've just wasted 2 of them to get to level 22, which costs you 2. So yeah, I get the point why this would not be the most effective build you can think of. But having high level has other benefits as well, so we start with it. Now we have 2 points here. We can get another point if we choose one of this. Don't take cruel. Unrest in cities is a problem. Yes, if you build your cities right, and if you've got a honey tree nearby, and if you have enough heroes, you can turn the unrest down, but trust me, that is a problem. Vulnerability to magic is the easy way. It's the dark way. Because that means if someone starts throwing spells at you, you die. And I mean like really die. This unit heals 1 hit points per season regardless of level. Healing is a problem in this game. Yes, you can learn to heal, but I wouldn't take this. Scarred, this unit heals 1 point. Wait. This is 30% less accuracy. Most levels will be higher than you. Most enemies will be higher than you. Heals 1, we've talked about that. -2 attack. I would actually go for Clumsy. Sounds crazy, you can hit your own allies, but there are ways to get around this if you know what you're doing on the battlefield. So we still have 3 points. We could technically learn, for example, water magic. Just to get the inspiration. Because that's another skill, another research point. That's pretty impressive, right? And then we just take either attunement or even more experience, which I absolutely love. Or we could say, okay, we don't want this water apprentice thing, and we go, for example, for mana. There's discipline, +1 accuracy and spell resistance. There is might, tactician, +1 initiative to the army, but only of his army. Life plots, you heal when you cast spells. Just learn heal as a spell. 5% chance. Holy hell, that's not a lot. Misandry versus male opponents. Most enemies are male, there are very few female. You can summon a familiar, then cast all the spells you can. So basically in a battle, and if you will take this, for example, if you go all fire. If you go all fire, I would say, okay, take this, because then you have 2 units on the field that can blast your mana through the window, if you have enough of that. 2 mana is not a lot. Hardy, +1 level and immune to poison. Spiders are poisonous. Yeah, some other guys, but not that many. +1 hit point a level. He's got 29. Hooray! Then he has 30. Buy yourself a candy. This cautious, now hear me out. This cautious has a trick with it. You can leave the battlefield. It takes one turn to cast. So the enemy has 1 turn to kill you. But what you can combine this with is Beast Lord. Why? Because normally you run into a lot of beasts. 4 spiders. The trick is simple. You run around and scream, especially on a horse. We'll come to that in a second. For 5 turns. And then you turn around, take 1 spider. And then you use that spider to block the others for 1 turn. It will survive 1 turn. And then you do this and you're out of the battle with all your remaining allies. And next time you go back, attack them again and take the next spiders. And the next spider until there's only 1 left. So if you take the Beast Lord thing. If you say, okay, I want to have bears and spiders and all that stuff. Take cautious and take a horsey. So that's a point. That's a point. And that's a pig. You don't have to take any magic then because you will have no mana left. Taking over beasts is super expensive unless you have a high spell mastery and spell mastery if you are a mage, and you will have to need high spell mastery. So this is a pick then as well. If you want to go Beast Lord, you take Beast Lord. You take basically nothing here. You take Brilliant, you take Attunement, and you take Cautious. And then you're good to go. Because this will give you the spell mastery, which increases your chances that taking over the bear works and he doesn't eat your head. This will give you at least some of the mana you need to take him over. When you take your specialization, you will take Mage. That will make the spells cheaper, which means you can take more beasts for less mana, and then you take Cautious and you'll be good. Appearance. Please, everyone take this. The Crown of Magic is cheap, is free. It's for free. Yes, it looks stupid, but it's for free. And all the enchantments on this unit have no maintenance. Please take this. 1 cost for +2 initiative. Are you mad? 1 cost for 4 defense. Are you mad? If you're taking the Bandit tree, I wouldn't recommend a horse because your bandits are not as fast. So you will have absolutely insane movement and your army cannot follow you. And contrary to popular belief, your army is only as fast as the slowest member. Surprise! Yeah, no. That's the same as this. Why would you do that? Well, you would have 2 for your companion or whatever. +1 damage! Yay! So now, is there anything to say about these? I think I've said everything about these. That's it. Okay. Items. You can do, by the way, with your body or hair or whatever what you want. If you have there any prerequisites. I don't know. Yes, we take a cape and that and shoes and boots and whatever. It looks stupid anyway. Holy hell. Being good looking is real hard work. Man, this looks as if we couldn't even afford something. Terrible. Anyway. Posture. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, we want to look just a little bit. Yeah, but that looks like more like a brigand, but we'll take it. Hair? How about some hair? Holy hell. Well, it could be worse, right? Back to equipment. You have to start with this. We have to start starting weapon. Please keep in mind that we don't want stuff that reduces your initiative. Because again, the higher your initiative is, the more you will move, the more turns you will have in combat. This is a very good weapon, but it has a cost. This is nearly as effective and has no cost. This has good damage. Yes, it needs 2 hands, but you don't have a -2 initiative. That's pretty cool. The spear is good because you can strike more opponents if they're in a line. The warhammer is good because you can knock them thrown. Please, it has an equal chance damage done to the damage, so it's 9% chance that you knock the enemy off the ground. And the X is fun because for one you have backswing, which is good because your accuracy is not that high on that of your troops, and you can strike 3 enemies at the same time. So I would normally go for the X. That would be my pick of the day. With that being said, I think we have everything. We can write something, but we honestly don't care. So, let's go into the map, right? Yeah, there's... Oh, no. Yeah, okay, we take this because we wouldn't see ourselves. Take a nice back pictures. There's something that looks a little bit more... yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, why not? This doesn't look so bad. Oh no, hello. Yes, we take this one. Okay, this is the world. We take gigantic because I want to show you some stuff around the world. Again, if you're playing a small map, take the bandit stuff because there's enough bandits to make an army immediately and just waltz over your enemy. World difficulty ridiculous. Of course we're ridiculous. Monster density dense because we want to kill people. Everything else is okay. 18 opponents. Oh, we can go up to 9. 19. We'll take normal. Everything else is good. And here we go. So, against and all that. This is our starting area. When we look at this, we have a lot of interesting stuff here. We have a clay pit, which increases our productivity. We have crystals, we have a shard, and when you look at this, the green number is the food that the area produces. The hammers is how much material, how much production of units and buildings is there. And the blue thing is our essence. That means how many spells we can cast on the city. Now, let's settle here just to show you. You see that this has 3 little bottles here. That means we, for example, can take a spell and put it on it. And then, ta-da! It has 1 of the slots occupied. We can see our mana, we're getting 3 from the city because our hero gives us 1. If we had the ability mana guy, he would produce 3. So we would have 6 in total. And we have 2 slots more. So we say, okay, we want inspiration. Now you can see we have 2 in research. We could reduce the taxes. That would normally increase. Normally when your taxes are going higher, your research is reduced. Normally shows the research, but I don't know why it doesn't do that yet. But anyway, this is our fame. The more fame we have, the more we get champions and wives, or a wife. Essence is what restricts our ability to build cities. Every city costs 1 essence, and your wife costs 1 essence. So we can at the moment build 2 new cities, or get a wife and build 9 new cities. There are ways to get more existence and more essence, but we'll not do that now. We could cast more spells. At the moment, we will not do that because we want the Solar Sanctum on top of everything else. So another 2 research, because that will increase our research even further. Now, this is on construction. Look around in the world. We see there are little guys here, little wolvies. And we look at details, we can see that these guys have initiative 22, an attack of 8, would mean 8 damage, and an accuracy of 80. They've got really good hitting chances. Now they have the ability to counterattack, so if you hit them, they hit you back. And they have pack tactics. They do double the bonus damage and get double the accuracy to hit you. That is a problem. 21 hit points. These guys would maul our little guy here with ease. So, we go into our city, we say train. Now he says what we can build. We're not happy with those guys. We don't want them. We do the following. We go on design, we say new, and now, very important, especially with our build, we can choose weapons. You can see the cost of the unit down here. You can make it female and male, whatever you like, and can change his look around if you want to. That doesn't care for that. the more we take here, you see that the cost changes. We take the cheapest available. And if you made the build I do, you will take the staff, because when your unit... when your unit gets, when you research a new staff type, he will get equipped with that. And there is a special staff in our build, the Signian staff or whatever, that is that. So if, for example, we would go for the spears, we could not upgrade that. So we want this. Then armor. We don't want any armor. The armor here is not what we need. The accuracy would be nice, the initiative would be nice, but look at the cost. That is unnecessary. We'll find equipment, we can give the equipment to our starting units. Later on, when we have, when we're building real fighting units, then we might go crazy on this, but at the moment, no. Same goes for equipment. Fun part, by the way, you can get this. This is a starting arrow. This is still a beta game, please remember that. You can get this to get absolutely insane stuff with no cost. Yeah, I know. They will fix this, trust me. We don't want to use bugs or anything. We don't care for how this guy looks, right? Is there? Oh god, there is something through his chest. Who would put stuff through his chest? What sense does that make? That looks sick. But honestly, the rest looks like he's going out for dinner or something. This is the only thing that looks like fighting. We can send them in naked, or almost naked. That's because it's the Butcherman's shirt. Butcherman is a unit, very useful in the beginning, but we'll come to that later. Now you see we have 3 slots, and we can give him 3 abilities. Like Scout. Ooh, we have that already through our trade. And all our units have that, not only those we built. And for example, I told you about the plate mail and the chainmail thing. If we find a chainmail, he will not be able to use it unless we pick this as a starting trait. And if we didn't pick this as a starting trait, we cannot upgrade him further that he can use that. If this unit, if we get plate armor or chain armor, this unit will be outdated if we build on armor. But we don't, so forget about this, forget about plate. Plus 3 hit points at the moment. He has 7 hit points. Now he has 10. Yay, that costs a slot. 10% when defending. He's going to kill the enemy. Don't take this. We're not defending. We're killing the enemy. Iron skin. You can get 3 armor. If you put the other stuff in like crazy, you might get on a good armor class. But that's unlikely. Don't think of that. No. Unless you have an armor build, don't do this. Spell resistance, not that great. Monsters are less likely to attack. Less likely, it doesn't say no attack. Don't do this. Bloodthirsty, plus 25% damage against damaged opponents. Okay. Plus 3 attack versus lower level units. If you have problems against lower level units, what the hell are you doing? Charge! Look at the price. That doubles his price just for 1 movement on the field, which is useless if not every unit has that in the armor, just 1. It only works in tactical battle, and then 1 move will not save the world. Disciple! Plus 1 magic resist the level. Get a lot of levels. Unlikely though. Opposite race. So if you're Empire and you're fighting Kingdom, you get 25% more attack. Don't do this. Plus 2 initiative. Look at the price. No way in hell. That's only almost 100% extra cost. No. Because lower initiative is likely, because we're building on initiative. Plus 3 attack is not that much. Minus 1 hit points, and he does more damage. Yeah, you could. I mean, yeah, it's not that expensive. It would be an idea. Underdog, plus 3 against higher level units. Also quite expensive. Lament. You could use that, but that costs you a turn. I wouldn't do that. There's some of the abilities that are bound to your race, by the way. I think this is one of them. This unit heals 1 hit points whenever they damage an opponent. That is, in the beginning, pretty cool. Later on, this doesn't get up, so it doesn't say 1 hit point per level. Don't do this. Rage, plus 8 attack bonus. When under 25. When this guy is under 25% hit points, you've done something wrong anyway. We don't want that to happen. Plus 10 accuracy at the moment. It is at 76. Now would be at 88. No, we need the slot. -1 initiative for +1 attack. Absolutely amazing. No way in hell. Killing an enemy provides 3 stamina. That would be interesting because most special abilities use stamina. He has no special ability, so why would you pick that? +3 mana from kills. If you do the Beastmaster thing, you will need a lot of mana. Or if you make a mage build with throwing fireballs at people, this will take a lot of mana. So this would be an idea, and it doesn't even take that much in cost. You see, the labor cost here doesn't go up that much compared to, I don't know, where was it that did go totally berserk? I think it was this one here. Yeah, compare these. Okay, so this is much more effective than this, but it costs only a fraction. +1 level almost doubles the price. Holy hell, do one fight and be better. +3 initiative, -1 level, and it's not that expensive would be an idea. Now say, Boris, what do you recommend? You noticed that I didn't show you all of them. Yeah, did you? So, for 1, this dodge per level, 1. That doesn't look like a lot, but these guys will be level 10 at some point, and then that's 10% less likely to get hit. Then we'll take this, +2 initiative, and +2 dodge. -1 to initiative. Doesn't fit what it says. There's still a bug there. But it's 10% more dodge. Can you see that his dodge is at 38%? And then we take light. And then, yes, his hit points is going down like crazy. But trust me, he has now 51% less likely to get hit. 52. And the enemy, as we have seen, has 88% chance to hit. Bandits have 60% chance to hit. And we're just at the beginning. Trust me, this will be insane. We save this, we could give him a funny name, like, I don't know. Dodge this. Dodge this. So, and then we do the following. We say train 1, dodge this, and we rush. Now we cannot rush another one immediately. That sadly is not possible. But we can say train another one now. The next one, as we have taken 400 guilders, we'll be able to buy the other one instantly. Again, next turn. With that being said, let's look around what is where. As you have seen, here is your options where you can load and save. This is your taxes. Your unrest rate increases or decreases your income. At the moment it's at 0.4 because we have to pay for the unit. Research. Now these are the research trees here. Civilization is building an economy. Warfare is equipment and weapons and more guys in the unit. For example, you've seen that this unit here is 3 dudes. You say, I want more dudes. Here, go for corporation. Then you get 4 dudes. And then you go for, where's the next one? For logistic, then it's 5 dudes. And then you go totally insane and you go for 6 dudes. Please keep in mind, at the moment, rate of research, this will be 1,622 turns. Thank you for your attention. Yeah, you will not get that. Yeah, we'll get more experience later. Training, as I mentioned, gives you barracks and 1 more army size. At the moment, our army can have 4 guys. Let's move these 2 together. So, see that 2 slots. If we go for warfare and take training, we will get 1 more slot. If you go for drills, it will be 1 more slot. And that's how it goes up. Now comes the kicker. You see the leather armor and you can see the shield. And if we research leatherworking, he pre-constructs these units for us. It's not like these guys are any special. They're just normal guys equipped with leather armor, basically. Now, when you look around here, there is a special here. That is the Cinderin staff. That we did get because we picked it in the beginning, you remember? And that's plus 15% dodge, and it does 9 damage. Please keep in mind, most people would go for the monk staff, which costs extra in crystals. And this only has 5 damage and 5 dodge. No way in hell. Go for this one here. This is what you need. We would actually go for training because we'll need both anyway. So that is more useful than this, so we're first taking this. As we're talking about magic, you see the monk's robe. That is 10 dodge, but it costs 2 crystals. These are 3 guys, so there's 6 crystals. No way in hell we're gonna pay this, but don't worry, there are other ways to get this stuff. You can buy that in the shop. What is interesting here is the shards, because that's more mana per turn. And you get the tireless march, which normally our movement is 3, that would be 4. Very good. Just saying. With that being said, when you look at your units, now we'll do something very funny. Look at this. We say disequip the X, and we go to our honey here, and normally he has the stuff for 4 damage. You can see 12 because there are 3 guys. 4 damage each means 12, and shabang, we're at 24 damage. Because he does damage only once, and they do it 3 times, so that's the reason we're giving the weapon to him. Yes, he will be doing no damage at all. Did I give myself that name? Was I nuts? Anyway, don't care. So just so you know, this is the main hero. You can look at the traits that you've picked. You can look at the spells that you can cast. This is all the stuff we picked at the beginning. That is the dodge. Now, this is your hero in the beginning. Keep in mind, the first time he advances, he will get to choose between assassin, defender, commander, mage, and warrior. And that will be only one time you can choose this. Go for the mage if you do any summoning, if you do any beast lording, or if you do any fast leveling. Because that's the way to go in my eyes. You can see you get 15% extra experience here. That is pretty good. You get an extra essence here. You see that essence here. That means 1 more city you can build. Healing is pretty important. The rest is not really going to cut it in my eyes. Yes, you can go up here and learn Cloud Walk, which teleports your army. As I mentioned, there is a cheaper way. And you must be level 7. That's a long way to go. And you have to put all the points in here. Don't do this. At least not in the beginning. I wouldn't recommend that. Exactly. The city, yes. When we look at the city details, this is the city. You can see the population and you can see the level. 20 more population and we get to level 2, and then we can choose if the city levels up. Like a hero, it can become either a fortress, though then military units will be buffed that you build more bonuses right from the start. You can build a town, which means you're getting more Gildar, more coin, which is this. Or you can make it a research depository, so you get more research points per turn. And then, when it levels up again, there are different choices for fortresses, there are different choices for towns, there are different choices for the research facilities. And so on. So you're basically like a hero, you're developing yourself in your city. And that's absolutely amazing in my eyes. Really, really great. You can see where all this comes from. You see we have an unrest problem. That's the reason it's 0.5. But it counts as 2 because it's rounded up. But unrest is a problem. In research, in production. So I've shown you this, I've shown you how to build. When you're building buildings, you have to choose where the building should be placed. Please, only one building, only one town, your first town should build the Tower of Domination, because this reduces the penalty from numbers of cities in your civilization. Not important in the beginning, right? But you get +5 faith, +1 growth. That is pretty amazing. The scrying pool can only be built by us, but that means we get 1 more of these little bubbles here. So getting 1 more enchantment on the city, and we get 1 more mana, because thanks to the mana enchantment, we get 1 mana per bubble that we have. Pretty impressive. Monument, Zone of Control, which means we would get the Crystal Factory and the Mining Factory. That would be also pretty impressive. Merchant. More Gildar, Cleric, less Unrest, less Fame. Workshop, more material means more faster building. We can pick this again because we don't need that at the beginning. Now, when we look around, we see these little things. That means there is stuff there that we can pick up. That is more or less random, but you can just go over and load again. If you stumble into something, most of the time it can be changed. This little thing here means there's monsters. When we look at these guys, he is level 5, level 5, level 5. They will level up in time, and they will become more, and they will become stronger, and may even change from a normal wolf to an ebon wolf to a timber wolf to a gigantic I bite your nuts off wolf. Everything's possible, and they will start to send out troops, so little groups of wolves. And as long as it's wolves, this is maybe only harassing, but think this could be ogres, and then ogre armies are walking around, or even a dragon lair, and then dragons will be walking around. Deal with this when it's small. Do you know where big problems come from? From small problems that are watered with ignorance. Deal with them early. Now, you see the mountains here. If we want the mountains gone, what we could do is invest absolutely insane amounts of mana, or we just build buildings in this direction, because wherever you build buildings, the earth is flattened, so we could just build the mountains away by expanding in this direction. Just as an idea, just saying. This normally works pretty well. Unit design we have already shown. Dynasty, we're just alone. We have not married yet. We'll get a wife, and then we'll get offspring. And if we get offspring, we have to decide if we want them to make them into heroes, which costs 100 mana. Or if we marry them to someone, then we get new babies and more guys. We have no foreign relations because there's no one around here. Kingdom report shows us the master quest that we could do, shows us ourselves what there is to know about, if we have any active quests, which we have not. The spellbook I've already shown you. Turtleage will cast ourselves, but not now, because we first want to get the research upgrade. Now comes the crafting. These are the stuff that we get because we have picked the knowledge in the beginning, which is the recall scroll. Honestly, 1 bridge scroll and 5 mana, and you have the ability to transport an entire army, even without a hero in it, back to your main capital. Absolutely amazing. Blizzard, far too expensive. Holy hell, if you get all this stuff, you have killed more people than 60 gold damage can do. Leather boots, 3 wolf pelts. Leather embraces, 1 wolf pelt. As cheap as it gets, you can equip everyone in your army with this, because there is no shortage of wolves in this game. This is the staff. -6 initiative means you only fire half of the time, because the others will be hitting you and you will be casting, and this is pretty expensive for that. The hunter's sword. You have seen the axe has 8 or 9 attack. This does 13, has an initiative bonus and a counter attack. That's pretty nice. Minor healing. That is easy to achieve, and 10 hit points is okay. 10 mana to your pool. It's taken. And it doesn't use the same ingredients, at least in terms of specials here, so that's nice. Growth Imperium, forget about this, this is garbage. Round Shield, nice, but a little bit hard to get because of the Flawless Crystal. Ring of Life, +3 hit points, holy hell, no, far too expensive to us it does. And the Ring of Glacier, are you kidding me? If you've got 2 horses, I would hit you in the head with a shovel if you built this thing. Honestly, why could you? That is a ring slot. When you look at your heroes, these guys have, the heroes have more slots. I mean, he has the same slots, but he can only equip normally 2 items. If you equip these slots with a ring for +1 cold, I will personally find you. No way in hell. You can see that we cannot equip or build this because we have not researched the technology. The clay pit and the crystal cack can be exploited without having the technology. There are technologies that make them more effective, but they are not needed just to get the bonus of it. You see? So this produces 0.5 crystals a turn. If you've got better technology for crystal production, you can get that up to +2 per turn. But when you've got that technology, you don't need crystals anymore that much, do you? Anyway, so that is how it works. Yeah, let me think. I think that's okay. So let's see what we can get. It's a balanced axe. That's actually quite impressive. Can split skulls. We cannot rush this, so we'll wait a turn. So, and then we'll rush these guys. Put them into the army. Train another group of this beautiful dodge this guys. And equip these with... not him. These with the balance axe. 33 damage. Holy hell, these guys are getting really, really nuts. We'll do a turn. Why are we researching charms of all things? We want to go for training. That was super stupid. Anyway, rush these guys as well. Put them into the fight. And now we need a building. Normally I would go for the Tower of Domination, because that's your starting building in my eyes always. However, a monument will give us access to the minerals, and that is really, really good. And it's really, really quick to build, so we're going for this in this case. They can move 1 square, so they will. And we'll do a turn. How many turns will 27? Holy hell. We really have a problem with research at the moment. It's just too slow. Okay. So let's hit these guys. Yes, we could cast a turtleage before that, but we need our mana for the research thing. That's more important than experience at the point. Now, this is the battlefield. As you can see, the enemies on one side, we're on the other side. In the middle is this crystal lake, whatever thing. Keep in mind that every time you load the battlefield will be different. So if the battlefield is bad for you, just reload and try another battlefield. This is faster animation. This is computer takeover. This is end battle with computer resolve. Don't do this unless you want to load and save, because there is no other way to do that. You cannot save in combat bundle. Here you can see the initiative, who is doing what when. You can always look at each enemy this way. You see that they're not, well, these are all the same, but sometimes they're different types of wolves or different levels of wolves. We're just moving a little bit back and let them come. So that was a mistake, because now we're fighting 3 against 1. That's how we like our odds, right? Yeah, this guy didn't even see it coming. You will pass. You will pass. So, he will pass. He will pass. He will move back. Because we only want one of them to engage us. That's the idea. Now, the interesting part is that we now have our X guys, right? They have enough stamina, because every time they do nothing or they have a turn, they get 1 stamina. And you can see now, stamina 3, that's the little lightning thing here. Let's have a look. Where can we see it? Doesn't display here, sadly. But you can see it here. Stamina 9 he has at the moment. We could attack him, just reduce the counterattack chance, because he only has 1 counterattack. You can see we have a chance of 97%. We're doing no wet damage, because we're not wearing any weapons, because we have given our weapons to the guys. But his retaliation is 55%, thanks to our dodge of 25. So, great that we have so much dodge. So now, you see our attack chance is 82%, his is 28 for retaliation. And we will hit him. He did hit us, that was unlikely, but okay. And now, we'll go here, and we'll totally... Oh, we cannot hit our own units, we'll be fine. So, we could even wait and then use their ability of life-stealing to replenish them, but he might bite us again, and we don't like that. And now you see we get Potion of Might, we get Potion of Wisdom, we get Flawless Iron, and we lost 2 hit points. They're all dead. Now we can choose Assassin. What does Assassin do? You can only choose this once per hero. Just for that. Sometimes you even buy heroes that have already chosen their path. Assassin. More damage, more initiative, more dodge. If you want to make, like, we have a Wraith guy and then dodge equipment and almost 100 dodge, this would be an idea. Also, he gets the ability to start with 4 stamina, which a Beast Lord might use, because you need 7 stamina to use your Beast Lord abilities. So what you wait normally 6 turns. With this, it will be 2 to 3 turns. An idea, not ideal. Defender. A lot of hit points. You can increase your army's defenses by %, and you can even summon very small and not that useful defenders, because it comes very late in the skill tree. An idea, not ideal. Commander. Commander, if your chief has to rest in the city because you say, I don't want to risk my commander, my leader in something, I put him into a city to reduce the unrest. He has abilities to get additional Gildar every turn, to get additional research every turn. So this guy is best kept out of secret, out of combat. He can fight, he can give bonuses to an army, but not as much as the defender. The mage. My pick always, because he gets an experience bonus, or can take an experience bonus, and he can summon units in the strategic map as well as on the battle map. Yes, it's expensive in Magic, but it's good. Warrior. It's damage, damage, and damage. Yeah, did I mention damage? You can get like sweeping skills and doing double damage and just hitting him in the groin and stuff like that, like crazy. We take the mage. Potion of Wisdom and a Potion of Might. Potion of Wisdom, where is my equipment? Oh, that was the recipes. We can now do Potion of Wisdom and the Potion of Might. Oh boy, is that useless. Anyway, you can see now this little hub of unfriendly wolves has turned into a treasure grove. So we can walk into it once and get some additional equipment. Sometimes, by the way, it's not equipment. Sometimes it's just golden fame. Okay. Now, we can immediately attack this guy. Don't do auto-resolve. Just hit him where it hurts. We could even wait him out and steal his life force. Maybe we should do just that. You will pass, and they will take his life force. Ta-da! And we're full. I mean, say something. And we get flawless iron. We might even be able to build something out of this. Yeah, like 6 more and we can build something. Now we might be able to build a round shield, but we've got no crystal flawless, so maybe we can build something else with that. But that's really just for that. There's nothing else you can do with that. Okay, there's more wolves to kill. There's walks. Please don't confuse those two. Looks like and sounds the same. Or almost, no, they more howl and they more snarl. You can build this close to them, and then you can take them as riding people, as riding thing. But only if you have the technology resolved or researched of Varg thingies. I wonder where this is. I think it's here. No, that's the Snark Pig. Is it in the warfare department? This is horses. Yeah, walk riding. 1 walk per 5 seasons. Are you nuts? No way in hell we're waiting that long just to get some beasts. Anyway. We'll take a turn. So. You can say that they have levels. The more you wait, the higher the level gets, the more evil guys will be there. There's even more works. There will be a lot of wolf killing, holy hell. Did we get any wolves? No, we didn't, because then we would be able to build our first armor. Okay. Not what I expected, but fine by me. You can see there is the fog of war, but we can definitely say that this ends here, so there's no reason to go there just to find out. There might be a goodie hut or something. There is a goodie hut here, but we'll deal later with that. There are different types of goodie huts, different levels, meaning you can find different stuff there. We don't have the problem that we have a minus to movement, because obviously we have the scout ability taken as our leading stuff. Next turn we'll be able to cast our research bonus on our city, which means we'll get +2 research. Will mean this basically should halve then, so about 13 turns to first technology. So, I hope you liked it. I hope you will look out for more, because this is really, really, really a great game. If you have questions, I would be delighted to answer them for you. See you all next time, hopefully. Until then, bye!